Okay, working with the list and ListNode class, we need to be really careful about what we think about as an empty list. So I've got 3 puzzles for you to solve, so get out some scratch paper. Okay, my first one is I want you to draw a memory diagram for the end of the main method here. So please pause the video and draw that. And what's really important to me here is that you didn't draw any list or ListNode objects. Remember, we didn't call the constructor. A constructor is a method with the same name as the name of the class. We call using the keyword new. And here, the variable spam, we didn't give it a value. And because spam's type is a list that can hold strings, that means spam could hold a reference. And so if spam isn't given a value, it is set to null. And it's drawn there as an X. And as a note, I'm going to draw args because we're going to ignore it as null, even though it's really a 0 length string array. So the big thing here is that spam was a null reference. That is not a legit way to represent an empty list. That's just a reference that hasn't been set and not an empty list. Okay, the next one, I want you to draw a memory model here. Again, please pause it. And you might need to refer back to the ListNode constructor, which took in the data type. That was the data that it was going to store, and then the myNext value. So whatever the next list node should be. So pause it and draw this memory model. Okay, the really important thing here is that that variable node is a list node, and it is not an empty list. It is just a list node where the myData and the myNext are null. Okay, our last puzzle, please draw a picture of what the main method memory would look like. Pause it here. Okay, so this is the one where spam is a variable that references a list. Inside that list, when we can create the list with no arguments, we're going to set its myHead to null and the mySize will be set to 0, or they'll just get those default values if we don't provide a constructor. And that is how we're going to represent an empty list. It's not going to be a null reference. It's not going to be a list node with nulls in it. It's going to be this thing where we've got a list where the myHead is null and the mySize is 0.